Hey everyone, welcome back. Analytics Advantage YouTube channel, not to be confused with the website aags.online, which, by the way, you might want to check that out because we are going to be posting a lot more content as we get closer to the NFL season, especially now that we've had the draft go by. So keep it on your radars. If it's not bookmarked, please bookmark the site. Everything is totally free. So if you're just wanting to get some information on fantasy football, on gambling, anything at all related to football, check it out. Totally free. It just takes a little bit of your time. Secondly, though, obviously that is the site where we talk about stocks and I post my picks and show, kind of what the results are of those picks. Lastly, I typically don't talk a lot of horse racing on this, but this year I've actually been doing a lot of homework on it, mainly because last year during COVID, there wasn't a lot else going on. So I got a chance to really dig deep on the horse racing scene. So I was lucky enough to hit a trifecta on the Kentucky Derby last week. I'm going to be trying to use some of that money to win another trifecta in the Preakness, which will not be this coming Friday, but the following Friday, which is May 15th. Again, all this might not be of any concern to you if you have no insight on that, or if you have no desire to get involved in any sort of gambling. But between that and then the big fight this weekend with Canelo and Billy Joe Sanders, is definitely a lot for me to be putting on the website. Let's get to the point though. What's the stock pick for today, or for this month, I should say? And right now it is going to be AAN's company. If you're not familiar with AAN's, it is a rent-to-own company. And I can almost guarantee you, if you are in a major city, there is at least one AAN's in your city. Where I'm at, there's several AAN's. It's especially if you have less than stellar credit, that's the place you'd want to go. If you have little money but you want to rent something expensive like a big screen or like some sort of furniture, if you're maybe getting a new apartment or a new house, that's where you would go. And AAN's, it might be perfectly fine as far as a long-term hold is concerned, but for me, I have again really found this to be a cyclical position, and cyclical in this case actually happens to go almost in line exactly with the real estate market and with just new home purchases and new apartments even being rented out. So that all being said, AAN's typically starts getting hot about the middle of May. And specifically, I am going to be buying this on May 10th, which is a Monday. And most likely it'll probably be in the morning time that I make that purchase. But just kind of stay tuned to my Twitter and the website, and I'll give you more specific time if you really want to narrow it down to the minute. But that being said, AAN's gets hot in the May time frame, and that's when we see a lot of people buying new houses or even moving into new apartments. Or planning to buy new apartments, and that's again mainly because that's when most people tend to move due to their children not being in school or getting ready to kind of end the school year. And AAN's, because of the business they're in, again, that's usually what happens. Secondly, though, because it's a rent-to-own company, a lot of this happens to really be kind of coinciding when people that maybe don't have a huge earnings amount off of their regular, hourly position or their salary position. They like to get additional jobs, work summer times. They have kids working in the summer, something like that. And there's items there that can maybe be more attractive to people that have seasonal work. And I'm talking about like students, college students, high school students, either one, kids, stuff like that. So things like, consoles, Xboxes, PlayStations, TVs, all that kind of stuff. And so you have just, again, more increased sales going on at AAN's. Now, AAN's, if you're looking at the position and you're wondering, and especially if you're familiar with AAN's, it has been around for quite some time. But if you look it up and you try to look like a 5-year stock chart, it doesn't go back further than November of last year. I have personally been following AAN's for much longer than this, so this was kind of a shock when I came in here to try and find a better graph for you guys. I found out the reason for this, though, is that back in December, actually December 1st of 2020, AAN's had a spin-off company, You can read about it if you just put in Aaron's Holdings spinoff. It'll come up in Google. But essentially what they did is they spun off a portion of their company to do progressive leasing, which is this site here I'm showing you. Really, it's a pretty similar concept. I'll show you. Here's progressive leasing. Here's the Aaron's website. And the sites look different, but it's honestly a very similar business model. So Aaron's, like I said, you would go inside their store or maybe even online to apply to rent something like whatever she's using here, the refrigerator, stuff to furnish your house. Progressive leasing is essentially a third-party leaser or a third-party negotiator. So you would go to this website, you would apply to get some sort of leasing agreement, some sort of credit basically with the company. Once you do that, then they'll show you a store. Let's find a store here. Well, actually, let me not do that because I don't want to give away my address. But it'll take you to your current address. It'll show you what stores are partnered with them. Stores like GameStop are partnered with them, going back to the games here. So you can find a place that will work. You can lease an item that you want. So again, whether it's a TV, workout equipment, whatever it is, you can lease that from them and start purchasing through that. And again, keep your expense as minimal as possible, especially if it's something that you're just going to have kind of a fleeting interest in. So it is a rent-to-own process as well. Again, very similar. The reason I bring this up is not to invest in progressive leasing, which, I mean, I guess you could if you wanted to. For me, it just does not have enough of a track history. This literally does have just a few months of record. So it looks like they're peaking right now at about $58, $59 as their resistance point. Again, you can if you want to. I'm not doing too much with it. Aaron's, though, we see that spinoff. So here is the COVID dip pretty hard. Here's where it comes back. Here is November before the spinoff, and the immediate fall off once it spins off. So it took a lot, about half, actually more than half, way more than half of the value out of Aaron's. But you see, as soon as it happens, it immediately starts climbing back, and you see this nice volume chart here, just where the buys are coming back in. So let's get back to something more recent. So we see kind of the base forming here around 20, 24, 25. Finally breaks that base, and like I always say, once we break that resistance point, you see that sharp run up to $34, and now we're seeing kind of that handle where people are getting shaked out, or they're maybe taking some gains. So we see it dipping back down to 30. I'm still not buying right this second, but I wouldn't blame you if you do. I'm going to be buying on the 10th, like I said, which is exactly a week from today. Should be around the same price, hopefully maybe just a little bit lower before any news comes out with Aaron's and their sales and earnings gains and things like that. I will be selling this in the third week of September. And so again, going back to home sales and apartment rentals and things like that, September is usually when we see those numbers start to kind of dwindle or decline because people are back in school, they're getting ready for holidays, they're not doing as much as far as looking to make a big move at that time. So we see the price kind of start to dip again. And in my case, again, I've been following this for several years. Let me show you what it's done since 2015. Since 2015, it has yet to lose me any money following this particular cycle. Some years it wasn't very much. In 2016, it was only about a 3% gain. Obviously not huge, nothing to write home about. But every other year, 10%, 3%, 23%, 37%, 12%, and then 61%. But again, keep in mind this is due to COVID, really. We dipped pretty hard in March, and we kind of caught it right on the rebound as it was coming back. But that being said, on average, you're looking at about a 25% gain. And even if we take out that COVID year, let's see what we're looking at here. It would still be a 17% gain average. So pretty good, regardless of how you break that down. I really don't think it's going to be a 60% gain this year, but I do think you're probably going to be close to this average. Let's play it safe and say a 20% gain is what I'm expecting. A lot of that is due to the spinoff and just kind of the run back up to where Aaron's itself, the main company, would be valued at. And I think that's a good number or a good target here, about a 25% gain. So that being said, just let's do one more piece of math here before we get out of here. So we would, as of today, our sell point would be about $38. So if you were to buy this position today, or even again wait till the 10th, like I am always to do, just do that simple math, see what the 25% gain would be, kind of have that as a target in mind, and then you can also set your stop loss at the 8%. Let's see what that would be. So your stop loss would be $20.52. I don't think that that's going to kick into play any, but just in case it does, just to make sure you are stopping any huge losses from occurring. So as you can see, you're at most risking 8% if you put in place that stop sale. But on the plus side, you're looking at making, I would say again, 20 to 25% as far as gains are concerned. And it should be a pretty good summer for AANs in particular. I do think on May 5th is the last day of the cyclical bull bear period. Right now we're in a bull period. May 5th is the last day that kind of stays in play. So if you are invested in the larger markets, like if you are just in a Dow or in maybe a NASDAQ ETF or anything like that, I would seriously consider exiting that really before we get too much further into May and go into very specific stocks that you think are going to have a good time period or a good time frame here coming up. I just think stocks as a whole are going to be in for a rough summer this year, and you probably don't want to be involved with a big ETF like that, at least not for right now. That being said, I hope that you guys can maybe get something out of this. Hopefully you will look into AANs a little bit more. Again, I'm not hiding the fact that I belong to position as of May 10th. If you do have any questions, any concerns, any stocks you may be thinking about, feel free to reach out to me. Find me on Twitter. I'll put it in the comments below. Or just message or comment on the YouTube video. Either way, guys, thanks again for watching. Thank you. Appreciate the support, and have a great day.